that today's hearing is an indication of where the Democratic Party is headed. The policy concerns surrounding abortion and the right to life are not new, but a bill such as H.R. 2975, with over 200 members of the Democratic Party in support, is in fact unprecedented. This bill before us today transcends pro-life and pro-choice issues. The question of abortion, sometimes reduced to yet another political issue, is personal for some of us. It's personal for me. My belief in the right to life has influenced my professional career for much longer than my time in Congress. Before being elected to represent the 26th District of Texas, I spent over 25 years practicing as an OB-GYN in North Texas. My medical career was rooted in my pro-life practice and the belief that all life had meaningful potential. In the span of my career in obstetrics, I delivered more than 3,000 babies. Not only did I have the joy of seeing these babies when they were delivered, but throughout my career, I witnessed great advances in technology. It's interesting, at the time that Roe v. Wade was adjudicated by the Supreme Court, sonography was itself in its infancy. It is technology that was really only available to me in the latter half of my residency at Parkland Hospital, and they've seen great strides. And yes, for those of us who've watched a baby with purposeful movements in utero, there's no question to me about the sanctity of life. While my work has changed, I now spend late nights delivering policy rather than babies. My dedication to pro-life medicine remains steadfast. Ironically, the bill is called the Women's Health Protection Act of 2019, even though if this bill became law, it would put women's health and safety at risk. The heavy-handed language that this bill uses is what places that risk by codifying that there may be no restrictions, no prohibitions on any particular abortion procedure prior to viability, may place at risk a number of women to potential harms associated with certain abortion procedures and complications such as infection, bleeding, uterine perforation, with no ability to regulate for safety purposes. Not only does the bill raise questions about the Democrats' concern for women's health and safety, it also raises questions about the regard for the United States Constitution. The Supreme Court established the viability test in Roe versus Wade in 1971. The standard says that once a baby reaches the point of viability, a state may regulate or prohibit abortions. In Justice Blackmun's opinion in Roe v. Wade, he stated that viability is usually placed at about 7 months or 28 weeks gestation, but it may occur earlier, even at 24 weeks. In 1973, a baby being born at 24 weeks had very dim chances for survival. But I will tell you, throughout my career, the youngest gestational age baby that I personally delivered was 23 weeks, and that child went on not just to survive, but to thrive without any neurologic sequelae. Last week at the State of the Union, President Trump recognized a young girl and her mother in the crowd. This youngster, Ellie Schneider, was born severely premature at 21 weeks. Ellie is now perhaps the youngest baby to survive early gestational delivery in the United States, and she's now a happy and healthy 2-year-old. So for me, it's incredible to see the medical advances saving the lives of mothers and babies. As the viability of a baby occurs earlier with the help of medical innovation, the Roe versus Wade standard inherently extends the rights of states to regulate earlier in a pregnancy term. A bill like this seeks to override and dismiss the viability standards set by the Supreme Court in the wake of medical advances that are saving babies' lives. The bill would also codify into law that access to an abortion is essential to women's health and, in fact, is contrary to one of the founding principles of our country, which is a right to life. The federal government should work to overcome the factors that lead to abortions and should support well-crafted legislative proposals that directly address these factors, but that is not this bill. I'm a physician, most members of Congress are not, But this bill does cross the line. It's perhaps the most uncomfortable and threatening legislation that I have seen that threatens not just hospitals, doctors, but the very women patients we serve. I yield back my time.
Gentlemen,